Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Chat About Death. I still love that intro. I don't know what it is about it, but I really do like it. I think it's because it's the spooky and kooky entrance. Until I can find another one. I do have a very special person that's going to be joining us today, and she is a friend and one of our followers on TikTok and every other social thing that we have is Georgie. Welcome, Georgie.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, that's fine. Yes, I'll just turn this off now. There you go. That's much better. And look, we didn't even have some crowd. We've got to bring in some crowd there. Yeah, yes. Now, for those that do follow us on TikTok, and when we do lives, you may see Georgie's name come up quite a bit. She's just a stalker, basically.
I can't help myself.
So we thought we'd get her in and do a podcast on something that's probably really close to her at the moment, and that's dealing with difficult family. You know, we all battle a lot of things during our life. Majority of the time, it's because of family and issues and things like that. And I'm sure there's people out there in podcast land that have a similar experience. And probably more towards like, you know, when they're getting to a sick stage or palliative stage where things just change. Even with death, things change. People just come out of the woodwork and they find that very hard. So, so you sort of, as you grew up, Georgie, you've sort of had a difficult sort of situation, or how has that worked for all of you?
So it all started basically with my stepdad, who got very sick. My mum used to be the most. Sorry, that was the eggs this morning. It all started.
That was very quiet. Sorry.
My stepdad died of hepatitis C, and that's when I lost my mum. You know, she just wasn't herself anymore.
Yeah.
She turned into just a reserved person. And we noticed that, things started changing. Mum wasn't really a hands-on person anymore. And that's when I took an interest in, paying attention to death and things like that.
Yeah. So I guess growing up, so how old were you when all that happened?
So I was 9 when my stepdad... I thought I had a shower this morning. I obviously didn't. My stepdad was... I found out when I was 9, and he passed away when I was 11.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And, I was taken out to actually go and see like where his funeral was going to be. I went into the funeral home and I got to see him. And that was... not back then, I didn't think too much of it, but now I'm like, oh, that was quite a bit for an 11-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Normally kids of that age don't even get... A lot of people sort of go, no, I'm not going to expose my children. Yeah. But it's like, I reckon that, you know, the more that families can share the process of death, the well prepared they're going to be. Well, better prepared, I should say, than if they didn't. And I think that's where people start to get a little bit scared about it.
Well, I think it actually helped because now I'm not afraid of death. No. I'm not afraid of people who have passed away, and cemeteries are actually the one place I love to go now.
Are you want to know when you're going to die or how you're going to die?
How I'm going to die, that'll be interesting.
But what happens if, like you said, heart attack, and you go, or what happens if you get, like, indigestion?
I'm dying.
How is my last hour on this earth? Like,
I don't know if I'd want to know either. But then it's like, it would be nice to know, actually.
Yeah.
So I can spend that last day sort of thing.
I'm sorry, you only have 30 more minutes.
I'm dying at 6 o'clock tonight. We've got till then.
Yeah. Wow. Family... Yeah, family dynamics is very different. and brothers, sisters, mums, dads, grandparents, all of that, and the way different generations have grown up
Yeah.
is another thing, because we look at society now and there's all sorts,
Yeah.
you
Definitely.
know, even when it comes to gender, when it comes to, dietary things, vegan, vegetarian,
Yeah.
cannibals, whatever. And there's just so many different options. And
Yeah.
the same thing is with religion.
Yeah.
That's another big one.
That one's come a long way too.
Um,
Yeah,
but
things are done.
when it comes to death, family tend to, where's the money?
Yeah. Where's the money? Where's the jewelry?
Where's the money? But
Yeah.
because I've known you for a while now, that you are a very caring and loving person, that you're like me. You help people,
Yeah.
but when you get treated like
Yeah.
rubbish, it cuts deep,
Yeah. It definitely does.
really hard. And for those that are listening, Georgie's father-in-law is pretty much been told he's palliative now. He's got lots of health issues, and
Yeah.
you've put a lot of work into him. And
Yeah. I've taken him to his appointments, made sure that he's prepared, that his money's taken care of for himself so he doesn't get ripped off.
yeah,
Making sure that things are being done the right way, because he does have two other sons that are, only after one thing. So I've trying to make sure that he protects himself and his money and his belongings even after he passes away, because I don't want him to be ripped off.
no.
I even helped him with you, thankfully, to organise his funeral. So that's pretty much sorted. And
So how did you? Because you've been looking after things for him, did you just research how to do a power of attorney, or what type of things have you done for him
so
that would help other people?
Okay, so the best thing I've done so far is I've just spoken to doctors, or I've spoken to. So we didn't know that he could get a nurse that could come to the house until he went into hospital with having a stroke.
Yeah.
So I just asked questions. I asked for help.
Yeah.
What could we do to help him? And the hospital, thankfully, were the ones that to say, hey, we can get a nurse out to the home that can help with, making sure his blood pressure is good, things like that, keeping an eye on him. And thankfully it was them. It was them who helped out. But also in saying that, there was one day where he got very sick and we had to call an ambulance because his blood pressure had dropped dangerously low. And it was actually the paramedics. They came to the house and they said, look, because he doesn't want resuscitation, this is a thing that blew my mind, was he didn't want resuscitation, but he in his mind, he thought that he could just sign a no resuscitation.
Yeah,
But that's not how it works.
No.
So the paramedics were like, okay, if that's the case, there's nothing we can do for you. It's time to give palliative care a call because, you don't want resuscitation. Now, we thought, oh, wow, but turns out, and this is the thing that people need to be mindful of, is no resuscitation means no resuscitation. There's no more help with when you're sick. You're just basically
you just go through your final moments.
Yeah.
The way that the body
the way it's going to
does
go.
it. Yeah.
Yep. So if you get sick, that's it. You're just going to let yourself go basically until you go, until you pass away.
But
Well,
he didn't know that was.
No,
He
so-
thought that he could still get the treatment. But
Correct,
just means
yeah.
that if he was in a vegetable state, it's like, no, don't resuscitate me.
Correct. So we rang his nurse and we told her what happened, and she said, oh, that's not quite right. There's ways about this. So she organised an appointment. She came around and she said that there's this piece of paper that we can sign. It's basically about what he wants. So if he, for example, falls over, hits his head, and he's going to be a vegetable, then we can say, all right, Dad doesn't want to be resuscitated. He just wants to pass away. He doesn't want to live in a vegetable state.
Yeah.
Whereas if he had a heart attack, he wants to be revived as long as he's not going to be in a vegetative state. So we had to sign.
It's like,
Yeah.
options.
So he basically wants to fight till the end as long as he's not going to be a vegetable.
Right.
So we had to write all this down. Basically,
But how would you know though?
exactly,
You don't know.
and that's the thing, you don't know. So it came down to basically for him was if he was resuscitated and he was a vegetable, I was to then decline feeding. So no feeding tube.
Yeah.
So he was basically going to starve to death
Yeah.
in order for him to pass away. And that was what he wanted. If he was a vegetable and they didn't know.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I knew that he was if they said to me, Georgie, he's a vegetable, we need to feed Dad because he can't feed himself. I then go, I'm sorry, but he doesn't want to be fed. We'll just let him starve. Because
And that's a legal thing to do.
that's a legal thing to do.
Oh wow.
Unless they turn around and go, no, Dad has a chance of having a quality of life again, they'll overrule it.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
If
So
they
it's got to
think
be a
necessary.
medical directed
Yes.
thing. It can't be just like, no, I don't want.
Now I signed this. Brent signed it. So Brent is his son. Signed it. The nurse signed it, and now the doctor's got to sign it.
Yeah.
And this piece of paper is then you can't get out of it. Like nobody can come in and go, oh, we want to change it. This is set in concrete. This is how it's going to be. The doctors and everybody have to pay attention to this letter.
Right. Okay.
So that's one thing that I recommend to everyone is if you don't want to be resuscitated, make sure you look right into it because it's not as simple
It's not
as
just one option. Yeah.
Yeah. Now another thing too was he was actually asked would he like to donate his organs. Now he thought, oh, I'm too sick for that because he has a lot of issues. Turns out, you can donate like your skin. You can donate bone marrow. You can donate all sorts. So if you think that you're not well enough, there is things that can still be donated.
Yeah.
If you choose to, yeah.
So, what type of? I mean, apart from do not resuscitate, that letter, was there anything else that you had to set up for him?
So things like if he was to be a vegetable and there was no way of like knowing this, he was basically to go to care. He didn't want anyone looking after him. He just wanted to be, he doesn't want his family to suffer sort of thing. But if he was blind, he could live with that. If he could be in a wheelchair, he'd live with that.
Yeah.
As long as it wasn't us to care for him. He just didn't want to be a burden to anybody.
So he would go into care and let them look after him rather than that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we were told though that if the doctors thought otherwise, the doctors will definitely overrule that if they deem,
which is fair enough.
That's right. Yeah,
I guess there's got to be that fine line
so
between it all.
if we see him have a heart attack, and we think, oh no, he's going to be a vegetable, we can't deny him being resuscitated. It's got to happen.
So did you have to go along the lines of power of attorney? Financial and medical? Is that something else that you recommend people do?
Yeah, definitely. So the medical side of things, you always need a power of attorney of medical side of things.
Yeah.
And it's up to the person who they want. The financial side of things, though, is different. It's really, really important that you go and see a solicitor or a lawyer because at the end of the day, you can do the paper ones, but if you really want it safe, it's best to go see a lawyer, get it signed off properly. Yeah, because anybody can change that.
Is that an easy process or is it a... Like what do you need? Do you have to provide anything to them? Like, or can anyone go in and say, hey, we're fit.
Yeah. You can go in and from as far as I'm aware, you can go into a lawyer and say, look, I want a will done. But yeah, it's pretty simple as long as, but it is a little bit costly because you need them to sign off on it and you've got that appointment. But all I can just say...
Money.
All I can say is make sure you do it properly.
Yeah.
Make sure you read everything, research everything, make sure you do it properly because there's been people who have been caught out, with those paper wills, the Australia Post wills.
Yeah.
In a court of law, they don't stand up.
No.
It's not until, sometimes even with a lawyer, it can be overruled.
Yeah.
People go, I don't want to give this person money. But there's a trick there. There's a little bit of a fine line there because you technically need to leave them something.
Yeah.
Because
even
if you
it's a
don't,
dollar.
Yeah, even if it's $1, even if it's a watch, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything to anybody else.
Yeah.
If it meant something to you, make sure
Oh wow,
yeah.
far out. There's
Research.
lots involved, isn't there? And
There
no
is.
wonder families get all stressed and worried. But I guess, as long as you put the foundation down, and then you can move forwards. Like I've always said on these episodes too, is all about preparation. The more preparation you have, the easier it's going to be down the road.
Definitely.
The other side of it is that, well, the other thing that I say is any preparation is better than no preparation.
Definitely, because it is very stressful until you sort it all out.
Yeah.
Once you've got like your funeral and your will sorted, the rest of it's smooth sailing. It's that causes the drama when it's not sorted.
Yeah.
You know?
So, so in regards to his family, like you guys, so you were saying before, there might have been 2 sons that are,
So-
have they been like, do they want to be a part of this process? Or?
They don't want to be a part of his life, but they want his money and his car.
Right. Okay.
And one of them actually said to him on his, I think it was, don't know if it was his last day of work or just before his last day of work. He said, "Oh, that's my inheritance right there," and that was the car.
Right.
So, myself and his son, we've said to him, it's really, really important that you get this stuff sorted because they're going to come after us when you die.
Yeah.
We don't care about your money or your car, but we just want to make sure that your stuff
Everything's done.
is done properly because they're going to come after us.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how, you may not have and there's probably other people out there that are saying, oh, yes, we've got an uncle like this, or we've got a brother or sister like this. Isn't it amazing how they don't want to be a part of anyone's life,
Yeah.
but as soon as something happens, it's like they're like the vultures,
Definitely.
coming into just coming in.
That was another reason too of his medical stuff, because if we didn't do that, technically by law, those children, if they found out he was sick, they could go in there and they could demand everything.
Yeah.
They could take over because at the end of the day, they're his sons,
Yeah.
especially his eldest. And this is the thing that people don't realise is they can come in and they can go, look, this is my father, and then they've got the right to know everything.
Yeah. Oh, far out.
And that's why it's so important to make sure you research and you talk, you ask questions if you're not sure.
So what was I going to say there about? Yeah. Okay. So the kid. Yeah. Any of those. If you don't have those things in place, anyone can come in and bulldoze it all and go.
Correct.
Whatever you've put into play means nothing.
Yeah.
But long as it's legally bound, then they've really got no leg to stand on.
Correct. Yeah.
But if they don't leave something, then that's when
it'll
they
go to
can
court, and because
contest and all that.
especially in the situation that we're in. So Brent is actually his stepson.
Right.
And he's been raised by his dad, by him since he was a few years old.
Right.
Like he was only young. Now, in a situation like ours, we don't technically have a leg to stand on without all this being properly done.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's going to go to
them, to the others. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is why it's so important. Yeah.
Oh, I would. Yeah, definitely. When it comes to the legal side of things, you got to make sure. The other side of things too is, what's your understanding or what's your belief about? Do you reckon that we should be researching people's lives? Like, do you reckon we need to be writing down their story and doing that?
Definitely, because a lot of people have so much to tell, and he does. He has so much to tell, but.
Yeah, the good, bad, and the ugly.
I'm not going to be able to tell you, where he was born, where he grew up.
No.
And it's so important that you ask these questions, write this down.
Yeah.
Go through photos, ask who's who.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And look, photos, and we've spoken about this before, but photos can share so many different levels of life. And, who's that in that photo? Oh, that's Auntie whoever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So important to write all that down. Some people might think it's sad and do we really have to do this? But even if you approach it in a way that, I just want to know about your life.
Yeah.
I want to do a scrapbook or a photo album, and even if you approach it in that way, at least then you've got information. And
Yeah. Well, it's for future generation, really. It may not be the instant right now, but it's for like even your girls, down the track. I'm like, oh, what was his family like?
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas if you don't have that, and we battle with this all the time because majority, even as a celebrant, going and talking to families about their life, they go, oh, you never spoke about it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, did anyone ask? No.
Yeah.
Well, I know wartime that can either be I'm happy to talk about it or no, I'm not really. And I think the way the movies or the media or paper how they announce it, that's exactly how it was. You know.
Well, he's told me he remembers Melbourne with 2 lanes.
Yeah.
Pakenham was a farmland.
That's right.
He's seen it change
sort of like,
and form into what it is now. Like he's been all over Australia as a truck driver. He
I mean, even in
that,
even in that truckie, the different towns that he goes to,
so much to tell.
Seeing that just evolve is a huge thing.
Yeah, seeing the Hume change and things like that. Like he's got such a big story to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like even you doing this preparation is that you're preparing your little family too.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it is important to have those memories with your children and partners and do you have much connection with like cousins and things like that, or is it?
No.
Some families don't.
No,
Some
and that's the thing. Like
we go our separate ways.
Yeah, well, that's it. And I have gone my separate ways from my own family. Like I do have, my sister and my brother around. I have my dad around.
Oh, there's another one like you.
Oh,
really?
Sorry to break it to
actually,
you.
Brother and sister.
Yeah, brother
Male
and sister.
and female version of you.
And
oh
look
my
out.
God.
Nah.
Queen Georgiana. Da, 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 da. I'm trying to find the trumpet sound, but I can't find it. How about this one? There you go.
That'll do.
Yeah.
That'll do.
Yeah.
Like
away we go.
So it's so important to me to, invite him to events with the school and try to get him involved as much as we can with the kids because, a family is, at the end of the day, is important, whether it's friends who are family or, or family. So we try to involve him as much as what we can.
But if it goes pear-shaped, like it just has recently for you, and I'm saddened by it because, I've sat down with you and him and, I've watched your journey go through that whole process, and it is sad.
Yeah. It's
it
hard,
is sad
especially when you give your all.
Because your partner works nights and is only available a couple of nights per week or days per week, and you're trying to take the pressure off him. But then when it comes back in your face, it's a bit like
and
that.
At the end of the day, you've got to remember yourself. Like, who's there to take care of you?
Well, the big thing is that it is about self, and unfortunately, society has said like, well, does it affect me? No. Well, it means nothing.
People just think you're strong and that you're doing this because you're strong.
It's not. You need to live life to the best you can.
Yeah.
And because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And
no, that's right.
Imagine going to bed with all this stress on your head, and like it wouldn't be right.
No, like lately I've been going to bed and I'm awake, sitting there in my bed, and then all of a sudden it's midnight.
Yeah.
It's not good for you. It's not. It is hard. And that's the thing, that you've got to start taking time out for yourself, take care of you, because if you don't,
Yeah, that's it. You have to. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what family, what your family dynamics are. It's just, no, you can't.
It's okay to say no.
Yeah,
Enough's enough.
You have to, fix yourself before you can help others.
Yeah.
If you keep giving out too much of you, then you won't be you at the end.
That's it.
And that's why people then get into a really deep depression and anxiety and, don't want to show that connection anymore because of that.
Yeah. And please know, if you are in this situation, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say enough is enough. It's time to look after yourself.
Yeah.
I'm currently going through that at the moment where, unfortunately, things have taken a bit of a turn. He's become quite nasty, and I've had enough. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
and it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think hearing other people say it as well, that's a big thing.
yeah,
You know, okay, yes, you might not be, you know, you might feel crap because you've had to say no.
yeah. And
Because it's
trust
not
me, I feel
it's,
so guilty.
it's
but
not you, but don't be guilty because
yeah,
you've already put the foundation there. If he
Yeah.
doesn't want to be a part of that, then
Yeah.
let him go.
that's it.
You know, he'll realise, well, hopefully he'll realise that
Yeah.
he's done wrong. And you just have to look after yourself and your kiddies and
Yeah,
hubby. You know,
that's it.
that's your
I don't
number
want
one.
them to be too affected. Unfortunately,
But they already are.
yeah, unfortunately they are.
Yeah.
And you know, it's so important to listen to the kids because the kids aren't silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen to them, pay attention to them. If you're wondering why, you know, they're upset or they're being a bit crabby lately, you know, there's always a reason behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so important to listen to the children.
Yeah. So he's not only affecting himself, he's affecting everyone
Everybody,
else
yeah.
that's around him.
Even his son, like my partner, he's you know, been going to work and he can't concentrate at the moment because he's so worried. He's so
Yeah.
worried about his kids. He's worried about me. He's worried about him.
Yeah.
You know, and
No,
this is where
I think he goes out at night because he doesn't want to be home with
I
you.
think so. Who wants to listen to my snoring?
No one else is going to be listening to this podcast, so it doesn't matter. No. It's like, oh, yeah, we'll just throw a cow in there.
Daisy, be quiet.
Daisy, go get milk that cow. I sound like Amish.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the clip? Just a little bit left field here. The clip with was it Woody Harrelson when he it was in a movie and he comes running with this bucket full of so-called milk, and the Amish are in their little horse and cart,
This
and he
sounds
goes
a bit old for me.
and he's got like he's been drinking it. And they said, "Oh, you know, I just your cow back there was wanting milk," and then they turned around and said, "Actually, we don't have any female cows. We have a bull." Isn't that scary? So a little bit left field, but I just thought, yeah, you weren't milking, you were milking a bull. Disclosure, I hope I didn't offend anyone by that, but just yeah,
Good to have a laugh.
and I think that's where you've got to just get yourself. How can you say it? Get yourself into, you know, if it's media or whatever that makes you laugh. Go to a
definitely.
place.
TikTok is my place.
Yeah, go to a place, and obviously,
There's some
you know,
funny stuff on
Let's
there.
Chat About Death, Brember Family Funerals is her
Yes.
number one channel that she follows.
That is very, very
yes.
true.
Um,
There is some good stuff on there.
yeah, well, apparently. But I've always wanted to get to 20,000 followers on there. Look, I'm actually really humbled by that. Like being at, I think we're at 15,500. Really
Yeah.
humbled by that. But yeah, see, we've got off on a tangent.
Well, me
Talking
being on
about
this
family, but
podcast
you know what?
should get you to 20K now.
We're moving forward. Actually, let's go to 50.
No, not
Do we have any takers on 50? I want to be like those.
If
I
we
want
get
be
to
like
50,
yeah.
Chris will give you $1 million,
Yeah,
everybody.
I want to be one of those influencers. I'm thinking, no, that's the flu. Influenzas.
Influencer Chris.
What do they call it? Now there's Brembanese just there.
Influencer.
Yeah. Those people
Yeah.
that are on there, it's like, oh my god, I get all this money with my bits out.
Wow.
Influencer or something. An
Yeah.
influencer.
That's it.
That's it,
Yeah, not
yes.
influenza.
Not influencer, an influencer.
I want to be a flu.
It's Chris,
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
Influenza Chris. Watch out.
Yes, it's the next pandemic. I will
Mask up,
consume.
everybody. It's going to get a bit smelly.
Yes. Lovely. Lovely. Yeah. So look, folks, family are family. And, you know, just be around the people that do love and support you. Sometimes when people do get really sick, and it could be due to dementia or Alzheimer's and things like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the hardest thing when you see
It's
people.
also their independence. Like, if they've lost all their independence and they just want a little bit of it back, it can send them to really want their independence back, and they're going to do whatever it takes to get even a bit of it
Yeah,
back.
because they're used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for him, he's so used to being so independent that he couldn't drive anymore. He had to rely on others, and I think it just got too much.
Yeah.
And
but now he's doing things that he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
That could possibly cause other injuries to other
Yeah.
people if he's going to be like that. And
Yeah.
that is sad.
And just remember too that if you do see someone doing something like driving when they shouldn't be, it's okay
To report.
to report it,
yeah.
whether it's your family or not. It's okay.
For his own safety, but for the safety of pedestrians and anyone else on the road.
Exactly.
That's vital.
You've got
for
to
that.
protect everyone. It takes a village,
Yeah.
like to support each other, and to take care of each other.
Ding, 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 ding. It's like
Except
do
for Chris.
do the shake, do the shake. The village people milkshake. You ever heard that?
Milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
No, not that one. No, you ever heard the milkshake one? Hey, you ever heard that?
No, I haven't.
So you remember the village people doing the milkshake?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. I think it's this one. Let's just
Yeah.
drop this on. Oh yeah. Do the shake. Do the milkshake. The milkshake. Do the shake. There you
Yes,
go.
I remember now.
Yeah. Whatever happened to them?
The village people.
Yeah.
They went to the YMCA.
You said about a village bringing it in. And I'm thinking, oh, that's quite interesting. The old village. Yeah. Wow. God, village
They
people.
used to be really good.
They did. They did.
Yeah.
Then what happened to them?
Just like everybody
look.
else, I guess they fat out.
Yes. Well, I think we've pretty much covered. I mean, we could probably talk all day on it, but I want everyone to thank Queen Georgiana for coming today and sharing some personal stuff about her family.
Thank you for having me.
And for those that are listening, hope you're all going to have a really good day or night or wherever you're doing it. For those that don't follow us on TikTok, Bremba Family Funerals, coming on a Sunday night, 8:30 Melbourne time. Let's chat about death. And also, obviously, you're listening to the podcast. Share it. Share it to everyone. Tell everyone about us. That's what it's about. We can't build unless you guys build us.
Yeah.
It takes a village
It sure does.
to do that. But yeah, well, there you go.
You won't be disappointed, that's for sure.
Oh, yes. I'll give you $100 for that. She's going, do I get paid for this podcast? Like, no. All right, guys, take care, and we'll talk later on. Bye.